Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another Market Watch investments video for you guys today. Have a plethora of things I'm going to be showcasing for you guys. These are going to be my personal selections, and I do hope that you enjoy. Getting things started today is going to be Legendary Dragon of White. This is the Prismatic Secret Rare dawning from World Superstars. We're going to be looking at first edition near mint lightly played. Starting market price is actually going to be roughly around 40 bones for some European Italians. I do enjoy European prints myself personally. These look really, really nice. Of late, I've been really getting into collecting Italian cards, German cards, French cards, European foreign cards. Really great stuff. For the first English prints, it's going to be around 53 bones for lightly played. And then if you want near mints, it looks like there's 4 pages of availability here on the TCGP platform. And then about 60. Around 60 bones, 60, 61-ish, give or take, for the near mint copies. If you want stacks, we're going to go ahead and change over to bulk pricing. Of course, we have the Italian ones. Looks like there's stack 12 for 40, plus a 1 bone shipping, and then it radically jumps up to, well, it was the same one, around 61 for near mint first editions. There's a 19 stack here, so pretty cool. Next is going to be the Legendary Magician of Dark. Of course, Prismatic, same set. World Superstars here. Looks like there's going to be, well, starting out with bulk pricing stacks, it looks like there's an 11 stack here for roughly around 30 bones. Again, those are Italian, European Italian as well. And then for English prints, it's going to be around 44 for a fat stack of 23 from that same seller. And if we take off the bulk pricings, I might get a little bit less here. Italian still holding the line for the most affordable, and then jumps down to 35 for lightly played for a single stack, and then near mint is roughly around 44. Well, actually it's the same one, the stack of 23. So really great cards, really great artwork, really great rarity. These are of course replicas. I believe in the OCG these are like prize cards or something like that, but only variants. Solo prints that we have here in the TCG, so both very, very desirable. Personally, I do like the Blue Eyes a lot more. I've always been more of a Blue Eyes fan as opposed to a Dark Magician fan, but both look fantastic. And I personally actually just invested in a playset of each of these. I actually just bought some off a kit offline, so pretty excited for that. Alright, next is going to be Gaga Clark. Still to the day, this is a solo print super rare dawning from Cosmo Blazer, so pretty much getting up there in age. And this has just fantastic artwork. I mean, you can put the spotlight on Waifu Tax or Cutesy Anime Girl or whatever it may be. This is a terrible guard. You're never going to play this. The whole Gaga deck is just utter garbage, in my personal opinion. I try not to spit too much hate or hate too hard on this channel, but that's just White Mexican's personal theory. I don't think I'll offend anyone. I don't think there's a big mass populace of Gaga players out there. But anyway, still a solo print, really cool artwork, and again, I really dig super rares personally from original sets and stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and dip into this first edition lightly played near mint. Starting market prices are gonna be roughly around 6 bones. There's a 2 stack here for lightly played, and then there is a single stack for around the same price, around 6 bones for 1 stack of near mint. Interesting enough, what happens with this card, there's only 2 pages available here on this platform, and then when you move to stacks, it jumps all the way up to almost 11 bones, about 10.5. There's a 3 stack, and then jumps all the way up to 25 for the 5 stacks. So there's just not a lot of availability of this, and I've also checked other platforms, mostly just eBay, and it's roughly around pretty much the same price, if not even more expensive. Roughly averages around 8 bones for first edition copies of this. I don't really know. I just really like this card a lot. I don't really know much of any other content creators that are talking about this card, but I think it is a perfect target, and as we can see with the dwindling quantities, it's just making that transition into the collector's market. It could be because it's a solo print, could be just because it has really great artwork. Personally, I don't mind that it is super rare. It's still hollow foil, and it's just Cosmo Blazer is getting up there in age now too. It's getting harder and harder to get. So, interesting moves. This card is making some interesting transitions. Next is going to be Glacia, the Elemental Lord. So this is the original print Secret Rare Abyss Rising. This is mostly played in, well, water decks in general. I think the last time I really saw any kind of competitive play this was Lantean Mermill. It's always a really fun fanboy fodder deck that people like to play. And we're going to go ahead and looks like there's some European Germans here for around 13. Well, just one of them here for a lightly played first edition. English Prince is going to be roughly around 17 bones for a stack or a single copy of lightly played first edition. And then your mints are going to be roughly around 17. Only 2 pages of availability, and it doesn't even look like there is opportunity for any kind of bulk pricing stacks for the first edition copies. There's a 2 stack here for roughly around 16 plus shipping. And then if we move on to the second page, those are all 1 stacks. So this is the best one by far, the most competitive one. There isn't too many crazy water heavy decks out there, but you know, it's easier, I would say, probably to pull off than maybe like wind or fire. I think there's less popularity behind those attributes, but really great card in general. And I did want to really quick take a look at the Grand Soul. Grand Soul obviously is the next most expensive, which is not really that expensive at all. It's a couple bones here we can see. This one is just another card that is, you know, it's not quite as good as the water one, but it's got really cool artwork. And again, these are all secret rarity of original print, secret rare, high rarity secret rare, which are really cool. Near mint's roughly around 5 bones for near mint first editions, and then there's 3 pages of availability. If we switch over to bulk prices, there jumps up significantly to 30 bones, 5 to 30. What a significant increase for a stack of 30 or 3. Apologies. And then the other ones are pretty terrible, but they're pretty much terrible. I mean, for collectability, if you want to just get like the whole set, but really it's like, this is a Harpy's Feather Duster. Windrose is a Harpy's Feather Duster, which is pretty cool. Its artwork is kind of so-and-so. It's kind of like a neon tripping on acid, Black Rose style. But I really mostly would just stick to the water and earth ones, personally, the original print secret first editions. Alright, so I wanted to discuss the forbidden cards. Forbidden stuff like Droplet, obviously we know this is like a mainstream meta card, really powerful, a couple different variants that we have now, but more specifically like the Forbidden Chalice. There's an ultimate rare here. Obviously this is really great stuff. This is a really cool card. This is cool for this is a cool Shadal tech. It recycles your monsters, which is really cool. But it's more so for the artwork, so kind of like the storytelling and the artwork behind the forbidden cards. I think they're really cool for collectability purposes and for artwork personally. And like Lance is like one of the older ones. I think this is one of the first forbidden cards, if I'm not mistaken. Storm of Ragnarok is pretty out there in age. These aren't too terribly expensive. I mean, they're nowhere near where like back in this era, like this was heavily used. This was like a heavily meta card, used card, so it was like really relevant. So it was quite expensive, but then it kind of had an offset and kind of watered down, and the game kind of picked up and didn't really see much play. But the artwork is just fantastic. Again, I really love old school first edition supers, like core booster set supers. I just think they look immaculate, and this has really cool artwork. We have like this like Garden of Eden tree and like heaven, and it looks really cool. And I love all the forbidden. It's like this old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Like if you go back to like Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! It has like this really cool art style. So I think all these in general for the original print first editions look really great and are potentially well on their way to the collector's market. That was pretty much there's like different ones. There's like Forbidden Scripture. There's a scripture right here, the original one. This is a terrible card. It's really cool though. I love how she does it in like a library, and you know, it is high rarity secret rare. Primal Origin's pretty old now too. This is insanely cheap, and there's pretty good bulk prices available. At least there was. It went up a little bit. This used to be like 2-ish bones. Now it looks like it's almost around 4 for a 9 stack. So it's kind of slowly dwindling. But just in general, I just really appreciate the Forbidden Magic cards. I think they look really cool, and they make for a killer collection if you're getting the original prints first edition. Next is going to be Witch's Strike. So kind of just playing off that. I'm not really sure if this is correlated. I'm pretty sure it is. The Condemned Witch and Witch's Strike, I want to believe that these are supposed to be the same character. But anyway, these just kind of run well and kind of play off the kind of like the story, if I'm not mistaken, of the cards, of the forbidden cards, and it's all just like a collector set. It's all just kind of like maintaining like the set, so it's really, really cool. And this is a really cool card, kind of hard to pull off. A complete blowout card, obviously, in every measures of means, if you get it off. Again, high rarity secret rare, a couple of different variants now. Original print secret rares from Savage Strike, obviously the most sought after, and this has had a steadily increase for the longest time. I feel like this card was like around 4.3, and obviously we're seeing it's a phantom about under about 9 bones now here for near mint first edition copies. I feel like there was a lot more hype for this originally before Savage Strike's dawning, and then when it came out, no one really used it, and then it kind of erratically dropped down. That's actually where I picked up the majority of my copies I actually bought, when it dwindled down to like 2, 3, and I think the most I've ever paid is like 4 for this. And now we kind of see it trending up in prices. If we change to bulk stacks, there's about a playset here for 12 is the most affordable for near mint first edition, and then just continues to trickle up after that. So this is a really powerful card, not really used, may or may not be used. I mean, it's all like player preference. I know personally right now, and ever since its origins, it hasn't really been used, at least here in the TCG, but it is high rarity secret rare, has really, really great artwork. And again, it's just it's kind of part of this whole like storytelling package that I think is significant. Alright, so next is going to be Condemned Witch. Condemned Witch. This card is a total baddie. If I'm so bold to say, I really do think in like 10-15 years, this is going to be the next injection Fairy Lily for this era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's going to be significantly older at that time. This card is such a baddie, amazing artwork, really killer effect. And again, it's just got some really great stats. Level 4 Dark Fairy, pretty generic for the most part. High rarity secret rare. And again, this chick is just a total baddie, and the artwork is great. And this is just going to continue as Soul Fusion gets older and older and harder to find. You can already see some prices trickling up and some trending up. This was originally, I think it was a little bit more expensive when Soul Fusion first dropped, and then it continued just to like plummet down to like 2-3 bones. The standard price, I've have tons and tons of these, and I was pretty much picking them up for like 2s and 3s is pretty much the prices. The majority of the prices that I picked up, the majority of my copies. It's only about like 5 bones right now, roughly, for first edition copies. I played first editions, and it kind of trickles up after that. What's interesting enough, though, is there's 4 pages of availability, but it's when you get to the stacks, there's a pretty significant increase in value here. So when you actually try to buy in bulk, it jumps all the way up to 14 bones for the first market price, which happens to be a playset for 14. Then it goes all the way up to 20, and then that's it. It's gone. It's completely eradicated for stacks here on this platform, at least. So the numbers are dwindling, and the price is slowly increasing. Again, this kind of reminds me of like a life lesson back in the day, several years ago when I was living in Germany. I bought several copies of Injection Fairy Lily, Legacy of Darkness first edition copies, lightly played near mint off of eBay, and I was racking them off for like between 8 to 14 to 11. It was pretty sporadic, but it was really no more than like 14, 18 bones a piece. And this was like back in, I want to say probably, it was quite some time ago, around 2015, 2014. And you check the prices of first edition copies, even lightly played Fairy Lilies now, OG prints, and they're like 100 plus. So it's pretty incredible over time what time does to these types of cards, being, you know, immaculate artwork, being high rarity original secret rare prints, first editions exclusively, of course. There's moves to be made, and I really think that this card is not going to go down. It's starting to go up, and I think it only has the opportunity to go up. That's just some personal white Mexican theory for you guys. So I definitely highly recommend. This is definitely one of the MVPs for future investments in this personal video. Alright, so moving on, we're going to talk about Ordeal of the Traveler. I love this card. So this is the original OG print going back to Generation 1, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pharaonic Guardian. There's several different common variants of this. There still isn't a hollow foil. I think this would look immaculate in Secret Rare. I really, really wish that Konami would print this in Secret Rare. I think it would look really, really great. Or any kind of hollow foil besides Ultra. Please, Konami, do not make this the utter trash of ultra rare, but I think it would look really great in secret rare personally if they were to make a holo variant. This is really cool. I think it's an underrated card here. You can pause the video, read this effect. A lot of people don't know what this does. It's just super old and kind of just this like side obscure tech card, but it is really, really cool. I like it a lot. Really great artwork. Again, it's Generation 1 Pharaonic Guardian, which is Egyptian styled stuff, which is really cool. Relatively affordable. I mean, around 2-3 bones pretty much across the board for first edition copies. You want to switch over to stacks. Looks like there is apparently no stacks available for first editions for those conditions, so interesting enough. And then again, just other variations. Unfortunately, they're all just commons. 4 different variations, all commons. So by far, obviously, my personal opinion, I mean, you got Legendary Collections 3, which is pretty cool, Dark Beginning, but overall, Pharaonic Guardian original first editions is going to be the way to go for sure. Alright, moving on is going to be Magical Hound. So the new tins produced a holofoil super rare. So obviously that's going to be a lot more sought after than the commons. Really affordable card, you know, just came out off the factory assembly lines here from the tins. What do you guys think about this? I mean, they really watered this down by specifically making it having to be a face-up magic or trap card instead of like any. I think this would have been like obviously significantly more useful and powerful if it didn't have this clause of having to be face up. But all around, it's pretty cool. It is a tuner, so that kind of makes up for the not entirely, but it kind of helps with the limitation of it having to be face up. But tell me what you guys think about this card. I think it's really cool. Artwork is pretty cool. He's in like this energy ball thing, and it is really cool. Got a hollow foil upgrade to the super rare. Really insanely affordable. So I mean, tons of availability. This card just came out, so plenty of availability. But I think this is kind of a interesting tech card there. Next is going to be XYZ Import. So 3 different variants. There's the common, again, super rare print just came out of the new tins, and then you have highest rarity of secret rares from Legend of Dragon, the complete series. Incredibly affordable, really cool. I just noticed that this is like Adrius and I think Genesis. I can't remember Adrius and I forget really like, but way back in the way like Generation Force era, like right when XYZs were coming into the game. These were 2 really big secret rare XYZ monsters that were really cool for like the longest time, and there's really cool artwork, and back in the day they had really powerful effects. They really held up, I thought, and I remember running them in my Dark World builds. So pretty cool nostalgia value to me personally. But anyway, what do you guys think about this card? This card's pretty cool. You know, if you're running an XYZ Eccentric deck, you basically just like Thousand-Eyes Restrict, like absorb and snatch and steal one of your opponent's monsters and just make it a material. It is quick play too, so it builds on that diversity power for this card, which is pretty cool. It is high rarity secret rare, and of course it has really cool, you know, nostalgic artwork of Adrius and Genesis here, which is really cool. So and it's really affordable. We're gonna go ahead and look at some stacks here. A couple bones. Stacks increase significantly, a little bit more to about 3 bones a piece. Core TCG holding it down here for a stack of an 11, and then it looks like it was only like about 2 bones for the single stacks though. Here's a 2 stack here for about a bone before you factor in shipping. So interesting, and also it only dwindles down pretty significantly. There are only a few handful of playsets here available, but I think it's pretty cool for what it is. Definitely, this is definitely by far my personal opinion the best variant of this card. All right, so next is going to be Gravekeepers Priestess. So you have the Speed Duel Tournament Pack 1 Super Rares, which ideally you would think, oh, like it's Speed Duel, so it's kind of like negative 10 points for that, but then you realize it says Tournament Pack 1, the very first tournament pack for this platform of playing, so that kind of like pluses it up like 20 points, but then you have to realize that even though this is Tournament Pack, it's so much more newer. It was produced way after the actual original print super rares in Absolute Power Force. So in my personal opinion, the Tournament Pack 1 stamp does not outweigh this being like, I don't know, like a decade almost probably, or like 8 years older than this variant. So I personally think this is a smarter variant. This is older, and you can actually get first edition copies of this. So personally, in my personal opinion, I believe that this is the most sought after, the most valuable one. And Priestess is a total babe. She has this pimp staff here with this serpent, and I'm just an avid Gravekeepers fan. Gravekeepers is one of my all-time favorite fanboy decks, and I just think she has really cool artwork. Not necessarily the most competitive Gravekeepers card or anything, but you know, it's a cutesy chick with a pimp staff, and it's Gravekeepers, and Absolute Power Force is pretty up there in age now. So we're gonna go ahead and look at first edition copies, near mint first edition, see what the availability is on the market here. These are just insanely cheap. Big City Cards has a playset here for a bone for near mint first edition. This is just insane. Very, very, very affordable. 2 pages of availability. Let's see, it looks like there's 4 options for stacks. Again, this stack here for a bone. This is insanely affordable. EB Toys, 2 for 7. This is very affordable too. These are insanely affordable. Watch out for this sneakily 5-bone shipping here. But these 2 right here, I would not be surprised if these don't get gobbled up quickly, because this is just insanely affordable for what this card is. I mean, near mint first editions. I may be the only one, but I really, really appreciate this card a lot. And it's just, it's all around, it's really great stuff. Alright. Next is going to be Appaloosa Original Secret Rare Variants. This is a European German one. Again, I'm just really, really into European cards personally, so I like to showcase them every once in a while. Let's go ahead and try to find some English copies for you guys. Now, I am aware that there is the Starlight Rares. Personally, I don't collect or invest in Starlight Rares. Nothing against them. I know that there's a market for them, and you know, every card has its place. I personally prefer the standard secrets myself personally. Rising Rampage Original Standard Secrets. A lot of European variants here. We have Italian, we have German, we have French, we have some Spanish and Portuguese as well, which obviously aren't European, but you know, foreign all around. So it looks like the first variant for English is going to be roughly around 38. And then it's a 1 stack. It is near mint first edition. And then, surprisingly enough, there's only 2 pages of availability for this original print secret for the first editions specifically. And if we switch over stacks, jumps up to 48 for a 5 stack in near mint. So still a relatively good priced card, holding some great value. I mean, I don't remember, I don't remember if this was the first Link 4. I can't remember. I'd have to check my history merit on that. But if it was the first Link 4, there's some great value behind history merit for that. And this has really great artwork. I mean, it's this chick with this bow and arrow on a polar bear, which is just completely badass in like every aspect of everything. So really cool stuff. Yeah, moving on is going to be, what is your favorite variant of the infamous Blue Eyes White Dragon? There is so many really killer artworks. Obviously, one of the most iconic cards of all time. There is, of course, the Ghost Gold hybrids, which are pretty cool. I hate this artwork. I think it's a total trash artwork. I don't like this artwork a lot. But an amazing rarity, you know, for MST and Solemn Judgment, I believe. And then there's Gores, and then there was Herald. All of them. I personally believe investing all of them. They're all really great because they're the only cards in all of our game state here in the TCG that got that Ghost Gold treatment, and they are still very much Ghost Golds, and they should be treated just the same as Ghost Rares, in my personal opinion. Very, very unique history merit in the game for these cards specifically, and they have not been reproduced. So really, really great for collectability purposes. Of course, we have the Anniversary Pack, which is personally probably one of my favorites. For the longest time, this was my favorite, and it's still amazing. I really do love it. It always reminds me of like Blue Eyes White Dragon is like taking over Disney World or something like that, Disney World Tower. But really, really great. It is unfortunately an ultra rare. That's really the main takeaway, that I kind of this kind of knocked off its pendulum a little bit, or knocked off its pedal stool, because it is had the unfortunate misfortune of being produced in ultra rare. But anyway, still really great artwork, really expensive and relatively hard to get. They have the DT ones again, a really great rarity. You know, Pokebot Sprinkle Birthday Cake, super rare hollow foil, but just terrible artwork. Really great rarity, but terrible artwork. And then, you have the original artwork here, which is really awesome. There are a couple different variants of that, which are really great. This is another awesome one as well. Specifically the standard secrets and actually the gold secrets. This photo is total trash. It does not give it justice. It is not this dark. It is a lot more brighter and vivid, and actually you can see the secret forming very predominantly. These actually look really, really nice. And you kind of see the prices reflecting. They're roughly around 10 bones, just the same as the standard secrets is, a little bit more. These both look really, really great. I've invested relatively heavily in both of these variants. I think they're really great. And again, this artwork is really, really cool. And it's probably by far, almost probably, one of the better artwork specific variants, I believe personally. But by far, this another underrated one is actually the Duelist Kaiba. So obviously, it's not the originals from the starter deck or anything like that. But this is probably by far, the original classic artwork. I really do like this artwork a lot. Probably one of my favorite variants of this. But for the first edition copies of this, being that it is a Duelist Pack Kaiba and it is Blue Eyes White Dragon, you gotta match the pair. And again, I just have this strange fascination with super rare, and these are going for really good money, and rightfully so. They're like 40 bones plus, rough around market for lightly played, and then continue to trickle up. And if you want near mints, they're pretty much off the charts here. We're gonna go ahead and actually, I think there was one right there, but some couple pictures here. It's roughly around 70 bones for the first near mint first edition. And then if you want stacks, give me 50, 46, and then about 85 for near mint. So really great stuff. So let me know. There's so many different options of Blue Eyes White Dragon, but it's kind of like personal preference. Also another thing, so the evolutions, the super rare evolutions, it's not the best artwork, but again, I think there's a time and a place for every investment. And this evolution, were they called starter? I think they were actually called starter decks. Where are those? This is going to eat up my time. But it's really significant. I think it's important to remember because this is an investment that I really believe in, and I haven't talked about it in quite some time. So here it is, the Star Deck Evolution. Again, it's not the best artwork, but it's still Blue Eyes, pretty cool. But for the first edition specifically, near mint and lightly played, as well as the counterpart, the Dark Magician super rares for this. Dark Magicians actually have the cool, darker looking Dark Magician artwork, which is really cool. Just wanted to do an update on this. These are roughly around 4-ish bones for lightly played. And then for near mints, let's see if we can find some near mints. Let's just take this off. Around 12 bones for near mints. And then if you want to get stacks, because that's the thing. These are not too bad before you get to the stack. Then the stacks are just gone. There is no stacks for first editions for these conditions. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Availability is slowly dwindling and has been for quite some time. This is really important investment though. If you look at the Gen 1 starter decks, which are obviously significantly older than this and are reflecting a lot higher price point, but there's going to come a time when these are going to be just as old as, well, not just as old as the Gen 1s, but they're going to be significantly more old. And it's I call this Gen 2. The Gen 1 was the original 2002 Yugi Kaiba first edition ultra rare variants, and then we call this Gen 2, which was the Evolution series, and then Gen 3 would be I think it was Reloaded, which actually gave us the ultimate rare variants of Blue Eyes and Dark Magician for the first editions exclusively, which are significant investments over time, in my personal opinion. Alright, so it's time once again to review Upstart Goblins, specifically the super rares from Secret Slayers. I know I talk about this a lot, but there's a reason why I talk about this a lot. I think this is a very, very significant investment, and it's been taking forever for this card to increase. And I'm quite surprised by that, but I'm still holding true to my investment values on this. I really do think that this is an important card to pick up in bulk. Anytime people have these in their trade binders or are selling kind of bulky stuff, I always pick up first edition copies of this. We're going to instantly start out with stack pricings because that's what's most important. You want to buy this card in bulk. This is going to be a great card to have in mass. Starting market price for first edition Near Mints is going to be 3 bones for you factor in roughly around the almost bone shipping. And there's a fat stack of 53 here. Now, this card is pretty much around 2-3. It's been around 2-3 pretty much since its release about a year, roughly around a year ago now here. Secret Slayer is just relatively new. Golden Boy set. This has really great artwork. This is just a great card in general. I know it's only at 1. It's been at 1 for probably some couple of years now, but you never know. Konami's relatively somewhat unpredictable with the ban lists. So it may go to 2, may go to 3, and that's always a potential with, like, you know, any card that's on the list. So this is really great. Of course, personally, for the price, I mean, if you do 3 bones as compared to, you know, the Turbo Pack. Obviously, the Turbo Pack booster rate's significantly older, a lot more competitive to get. But I mean, it looks pretty much the same. If not, if I'm so bold to say, I believe that the super rare reprint variants even look better because they actually have the magic attribute holofoiled out with the new formatting of the cards, of the magic cards here. And then of course you have the ultra rares, which is total gag me in the face with a giant spatula. But it is Legendary Collections 3 Yugi's World, so that is going to hold some significantly weight for just the pure prestige of the set itself. And then, you know, we have the original magic stamped, actual magic stamped Magic Ruler ones, which are really great too. I mean, these ones, Gen 1, Star at all, really great stuff. So specifically first edition is exclusively only on that. I mean, it is great that they have the magic stamp, but you definitely want to make sure that you go for first editions, just like, you know, 99.9 of everything else in this game. So okay, moving on. So the new tins gave us some prismatic secret rares of El Capone, Pinecone, whatever this is called. This has really killer artwork, so it took me a while to realize this, but there's actually like this like witch spellcaster lady here on top of this thing with like this like mirror laser cannon thing. I don't know, it's really cool. And there's only 2 variants of this. Obviously the other one was, I think it was super rare or ultra rare. I think it was ultra rare from Showdown structure deck. This is significantly more aesthetically pleasing in every way. Even though it is newer and a reprint, it's still very much higher rarity of prismatic secret rare, and is relatively affordable. This and Construct, around 2 bones, is like the best market price for this. You can see it's around bone here for a 3 stack plus 99-cent shipping, and there's a 10 stack here for around 3. So if anyone has these and you can get these at a market price of 2 bones for this or this construct, I was very pleased to find out that they used the updated or the alternative artwork. I really do appreciate this artwork a lot. Usually alternative artworks are total garbage, but they did a very good job with this one. I was really excited they actually made this one look really cool for an alternative art. And I was happy that they decided to utilize this instead of the original artwork for the prismatic secret rare ones. Again, this is the best price. This is roughly around 2 bones. It looks like there is around 2.5 for a 4 stack here. Then there is two bones here for this one for 14, and it's only 99-cent shipping. So these are really great to pick up in bulk for those very low prices. I think that they will go up. It's going to take several years. Obviously, these just came right off the assembly lines, but these are both really nice, aesthetically pleasing, and I'm just a big fanboy of Shadalls in general, so I may just be a little biased. Okay, moving on. So Malice, Lady of Lament. Interesting enough, the Eternity Code Special Edition ultra rares are like 5 bones. What? They're special editions, ultra rares, and they're like 5 bones. I have no idea why this is worth 5 bones and increasing, especially seeing how the new tins just manufactured the prismatic secret rares, which are like under a bone. They're insanely affordable, but the original super rares. So it's funny, it's interesting how the special edition ultras are like 5 bones, but the actual original core set supers are like not even a bone. They're like barely a bone. How that works out, that's beyond me. I just think that's very abnormal. I don't know why. I don't know who's buying them, or if you even can push those off for 5 bones for the special edition ultras. First of all, they're ultra rares. and like negative 100 points, and then their special edition, so like negative another 100 points. I do not know why they're that price. Again, but enough of that. The new tin Prismax Secret Rares just look completely gorgeous. I love this card a lot, and I think I already talked about this. I don't remember if this was in my last video or not, so I apologize. I think it's kind of coming back to me now. The White Mexican's old. I'm like losing my mind now. I think I already showcased this, but these are insanely cheap. Obviously, they just came out. They look gorgeous, and this, just like Condemned Witch, is just like a total baddie. I'm totally into like the dark, sinister, evil looking, like cutesy anime girls. Is really great stuff. So anyway, food for thought for the future. Right now it's very affordable. I don't think it's going to stay at that price forever. It's going to take quite some time to increase, but right now it's just insanely affordable because it's new. So get after it while it's hot. Alright, so Dual Terminal 1. Dual Terminal is discontinued. They're not making any more. It went bye-bye. I think it's safe to assume this is a fanboy favorite rarity. A lot of people like this. Dual Terminal 1 being like this birthday cupcake looking sprinkled polka dot rarity. Really great. History merit, again, that the set is discontinued makes it really special and great investment value fodder personally for me. We got great stuff like Dark Magician Attack, Black Horn of Heaven, Magic Jammer Negate Attack, Reinforcements. I personally just bought several of these. One, this like Generation 1 era, like very nostalgic artwork. This is the kind of stuff I'm really into, like kind of like confiscation style artwork, like old swords and bows and arrows and all that, just kind of like Gen 1 old school style artwork. Really cool. Obviously this is a reprint. There was the original prints that came out of the Star decks, Yugi, Kaiba, Joey, and Pegasus. So first edition copies, I mean, if you want to get those, but these are very much all around better, and I personally invested in these because they're DT. So these are like roughly around a bone, and you know, there used to be, I'm not gonna lie, I bought quite a few of them, so not as much now. They're roughly around like a bone and a half now, and there's only a couple 3 stacks here. But I really believe in this card. This card looks really great. Obviously you're never gonna play this card back in the day. Like this saw light of play like during like actual like the beginning origins here of the game in the TCG, but then, you know, newer stuff came out. So Shared Ride is really great too. Of course, you have the original, I think it was Mail Raiders Magic Stamp ones, which are really great. First editions, those are good, but I do again appreciate the dual terminal ones over the original prints. I have both personally. I invest in both, but again, just that old school, really cool artwork. Not really a good playability card, but just has great artwork, really old. And then this is, you know, DT1. It's the very first DT. You know, after DT preview. Preview is kind of unattainable at this point. Very expensive, extremely competitive to get. So DT1 is kind of what we're stuck with right now. Worm Apocalypse. This is generic. You can destroy any magic trap card and flip. Level 1 light. So it could be fodder for like BLS or fodder for like any kind of like, you know, flip engine or flip support that comes out. It's very generic destruction, which I think is pretty cool. And of course it's DT, so that's pretty awesome. And then of course you have the last page, which is going to be like the most, well, not really much of anything there. So okay, well, this is what I was talking about. So in like MST, Destronale, all around. So they're just really great stuff. Again, all the DTs are really great, and I would definitely recommend taking some time to invest in the more affordable ones and picking them up in bulk. Alright, next is going to be Magical Spring. 2 variants, 2015 Megatins, and then the Duelist Alliance. Both secret rares. And this is a really cool card. Now, one limitation that is kind of fine print in this card is that they have to be face up magic and trap cards. So again, it's always that face up. I think for the most part there's always significantly less face up cards. You know, some decks, obviously, depending on what you're playing, they kind of live and breathe off of like continuous traps and continuous magics, and they'll have face up cards, magic and traps all day long. But others, for the majority of the population-based players, that they don't really stay on the field very long. They play them, use their effects, and kind of just move on to the next play. So very limited that it has to be face up, but depending on the game state and what's going on, what's popular in the games and the meta, I think this is a really good, useful tech draw power card. Obviously, high rate of secret rare, quick play, diversity, and kind of silly artwork. I don't really know. It's like this fountain and this kind of pit of water, but like kind of like the rays of sunshine and the bubbles is pretty cool. So Very affordable too. So first edition near mint, lightly played. We're gonna go ahead and just go instantly to stacks because this is just insanely affordable. It's like a bone for a playset, lightly played, and then like it goes to roughly around 2 bones for near mint first edition play sets, and then there's actually 2 pages of availability for the original print. So this being so insane, it's not even worth it to even try to go for the mirrored Megaton reprint. Just go straight towards the source, the original OG prints. They're insanely affordable, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, this can have the potential to be good if people take notice of it, depending on the right game state, the right situation. And, you know, it is relatively old. 2015 was, you know, going on 7 years. So pretty good history merit, pretty good age stacked onto it. And then, you know, being a high-rated secret rare is pretty cool. So next is going to be Victoria. So this is a relatively old card. Stardust Overdrive original prints as secrets, and then the Lost Sanctuary structure deck came out with a common. So still to the day, there's only 2 prints, which is pretty incredible. Obviously, we're going to talk about the original OG prints as secret rares. This has, again, just wordless for the artwork. I love the artwork. You have to really pay attention to the fine details in this. You have like all these like serpent dragons, and you got like this yellow gold, like melted gold looking shine to it, really deep secret foil coils here. And then, you know, she has like this like dragon pimp staff and these gold wings, and it's just really cool. I personally am just really into these kind of like obscure, like darker looking artworks. Just really cool. And this card just, you know, it's for the unlimiteds alone, they're like around like, you know, 12 bones, starting market price for lightly playeds. But again, you want to focus on first editions like everything else. I personally believe that this is for collectability purposes, and just on age alone, this is getting carried very far. I mean, lightly played first edition starting market price is 95 bones, and it continues to trickle up, and then it bottoms out apparently at 200 bones. But I don't know who's gonna buy lightly played for, you know, almost 40 bones more than this near mint here. But there's just not a lot of availability. Again, the Starstrike Blast, I don't remember if it was Starstrike Blast. I always get Starstrike Blast and Stardust Overdrive confused. They're roughly around the same era. I wasn't even really playing. This is kind of like before my time. This is before I came back into the game for the second time. So really great stuff. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been part of my life for several years now. It's a great passion of mine. I hope you guys are making some fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh! Investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by the White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.